Look, the Dharma Dhwaj, when it is raised at the temple, it's a sign that the temple is fully complete, that the temple complex is fully complete. That's what technically the Dhwajarohan ceremony means. So this is the end of a 500-year journey from when the foreign invader Babur had destroyed the Ram Janmabhoomi temple and centuries of attempts by indigenous Hindus to rebuild that temple. This is the end of that journey. There's of course a deeper symbolic meaning of the flag itself. As I'm sure you've told your viewers, the flag has three symbols on it. One is the Om, which of course everyone knows. The other is the sign of Surya, the sun god. As you all know, Lord Ram was from the Ikshvaku dynasty, and they were Suryavanshis. They were a solar dynasty. So that is a symbol of their dynasty. And the Kovidar tree on it was also a mark of the Ayodhya royal kingdom. This was described in the Valmiki Ramayana. As I'm sure you're aware, there are three Ramayans that are credited to Valmiki ji: Valmiki Ramayana, Ananda Ramayana, and the Adbhut Ramayana. So the Kovidar tree was mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana. For some reason, some of the later Ramayans don't mention the Kovidar tree. I honestly don't know why that happened. Was that memory lost? But in a way, the flag right now is a revival of that ancient symbol, and shows the civilizational strength of Mother India, that we do not forget our culture. And we'll reform what needs reforming. Fair enough, like the caste system is being reformed. I'm not saying completely as yet, but it has been reformed to a significant degree. The Shilanyas of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple was done by a Dalit Hindu, Chopalji, which was a good reform. But yes, we are reviving the ancient symbols as well. That to me is the symbol of the flag. I tend to read speeches rather than watch them, so I wait for texts to come out. So I'm afraid I haven't seen that speech, but I did read the speech that Prime Minister Modi made recently on the need to decolonize, and to reduce the effect of Macaulay's Education Minute, which has actually impacted India from the mid 19th century. And this temple, the revival of this temple is, I would argue, a very strong step in that direction. I don't think the Prime Minister was arguing against modernization. Modernization is good, but modernization should not translate into westernization. We have to be Indian and modern. And the good things of the West that we can and should absorb, of course, we should absorb. We are speaking in English right now. Many of the modern tech advances have been made by the West. And there is no dishonor in learning that. Goddess Saraswati can bless anyone, but we must not lose our roots and our traditions. I think at various levels. One is, of course, at the religious level. When the Dhwaja Rohan is done, it signifies that the temple, the entire temple complex, indeed, is complete. And this is, in a way, the end of a 500-year journey. When Babur, the Uzbek foreign invader, who destroyed our Ram Lala's birthplace's temple, the Ram Janmabhoomi temple. And since then, indigenous Hindus, and indeed actually others as well, Sikhs, Buddhists, were also involved in this struggle for centuries. And the temple has been rebuilt. This has rarely happened around the world. Many of the ancient idol worshipping, goddess worshipping, nature worshipping cultures were attacked, their temples were destroyed, very much like what happened out here. The Greco-Roman culture, Pharaonic Egyptians. But it's rare that an ancient culture which has lost its worship place has managed to revive it. That is the religious significance of this. But there's a civilizational, significance as well. As India rises, I think Ayodhya will be symbolic and like almost like a totem pole for us to help us revive our understanding of Ram Rajya. And in that sense, the marks, the symbols on the flag itself are in some ways, I think, almost seminal for us. Because I mean, of course, the Om symbol everyone knows, the sun symbol everyone knows. Lord Ram's dynasty, the Ikshvaku dynasty, they were Suryavanshis. The solar dynasty, sun dynasty. But the third symbol, the Kovidara Vriksh that's there, that is a symbol of the Ayodhya, the ancient Ayodhya kingdom. This has been mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana. Um, I've read many of these versions, of course, as I'm sure you're aware. Valmiki ji is credited with three Ramayans: the Valmiki Ramayana, Ananda Ramayana, and the Adbhut Ramayana. And there are various other Ramayans as well. In the Valmiki Ramayana, the tree is described as a bark. If I remember correctly, when Lord Bharat was riding on his chariot into the jungle, this symbol was forgotten in the later versions of the Ramayana. It's still a mystery why that happened. Was the symbol forgotten for some reason? I don't know, right? Scholars, primary sources scholars need to analyze and research that. But what we have done with this is we've revived that symbol. And that to me shows the strength of the continuity that the Indian civilization has. We're the only pre-Bronze Age culture that is still alive, the only one. Every other pre-Bronze Age culture is dead. They are museum pieces. This flag is symbolic of that. We Indians, Mother India will never die. We Indians will not let her die. You know, we've suffered really brutal invasions for 1,000 years. Will Durant had said the Turkic invasion, what we call the Delhi Sultans and the Timurid Mughals were Turks. The Turkic invasions were probably the bloodiest in human history. And immediately post that, the Europeans came in and tens of millions died in man-made famines during British rule. It was 1,000 years of really severe tests, right? A civilization which suffers such huge challenges, such huge tragedies, tends to become defensive. It's natural, right? And many other civilizations, I would remind you, didn't survive. These same invaders who came here went to various other parts of the world. Zoroastrian Persia, for example, is dead. Greco-Roman, Pharaonic Egyptians, Aztecs, Incas, great cultures, they're all dead. We are still here. So we are bearing the scars of that 1,000 years of invasion. It has made us a little defensive, which is understandable. This reflected in some ways as well. Like, I don't know if you're aware of that Kala Pani tradition that was there. It was very strong till a generation or two ago that you couldn't go abroad, you couldn't cross the seas, otherwise जात बहिष्कार हो जाता था. That has, and that was actually not a part of our ancient traditions. Indians were seafaring people. We traded with the rest of the world, but this was a defensive reaction. This has come down. This thing that, Hindus do not convert. You have to be born a Hindu. I would argue against that. If that was true, then how did Southeast Asia become Hindu 1,000 years ago? If we did not convert other people, and even if we forgot it in the last 1,000 years, we should be confident and vigorous once again. And there's nothing wrong with going out and preaching our traditions. And we will, of course, not force it on anyone else, and we will adapt it to to the rituals, to the dietary habits, to the habits of others as well, because we are an inclusive society. So we must be much more confident. I suspect that many of the statements that you're seeing is a result of that defensive mindset, which is understandable after 1,000 years of invasions. I would argue that we need to go back to the kind of India we were pre 1,000 common era, when we were confident, outgoing, vigorous, influenced so much of the world. We must revive that spirit once again. And hopefully, this Ram Janmabhoomi temple, the symbol of it, will drive that revival.